Hi, friend. Welcome to Holly's Highlights, a podcast designed to encourage, inspire, and equip you to intentionally live your life full of purpose. I'm your host, Holly Kirby, motivational speaker, leadership cultivator, marketing strategist, and personal cheerleader. Let's check out today's highlight. Hey, friends. Today I wanted to take a moment in honor of Nurse Appreciation Week, dedicating this episode to the incredible, resilient, compassionate, and powerful nurses who show up each and every day to show care for others, often at the expense of themselves. Whether you're a nurse, know a nurse, or have ever been cared for by a nurse, this episode is for you. Now, nurses aren't just healthcare workers. They are the backbone of our medical system. They are listeners, educators, advocates, and in many cases, life savers. But beyond the bedside, nurses teach us lessons we carry for a lifetime. They teach us resilience. They show us how to stay calm in chaos. They model compassion under pressure. And most importantly, they remind us what it means to be human and a system that often forgets. A nurse once said, when you're a nurse, you know that every day you will touch a life or a life will touch yours. Now, that quote by an unknown author speaks volumes about the emotional depth of this profession. But let's talk facts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as of 2024, there are over 4.5 million registered nurses in the U.S. alone. That's more than any other healthcare profession. Yet, more than 40% of nurses report symptoms of burnout, and nearly 1 in 5 are considering leaving the profession within the next 5 years. Now, why? Because while their work is invaluable, it is often invisible. But here's something powerful. A Gallup poll has ranked nurses as the most trusted profession in America for 22 consecutive years. That's just not respect, that's reverence. My dad was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, blood cancer, back in 2015. And now cancer is never easy, right? Mentally, physically, or emotionally. But what has made this journey more bearable for him, even more hopeful, is the team of nurses up at Huntsman Cancer Institute here in Utah who have cared for him every step of the way. These aren't just medical professionals to him. They've become his friends, his people. He has often actually looked forward to his infusion appointments because he genuinely enjoys seeing his nurses. Their kindness, their humor, and their humanity. They know his name, his preferences, such as sitting by the window. They know his stories. They don't just administer medicine, they provide something just as vital: connection. That kind of care goes beyond the clinical. It's deeply personal, and it's a powerful reminder that healing doesn't only come from the treatment one receives through such a journey, but it comes from the people delivering it. That is the heart of nursing. Now, nurses have many things to teach us, but 4 things we're going to focus on that we can use as takeaways from nursing professions is 1, be present. Nurses don't multitask when a life is on the line. They focus, they listen, and they act with intention. We had a hiccup of an experience while going through my dad's T-cell transplant last year during the summer, and one nurse came in and just dedicated time to listen. There were many other patients to care for, many tasks to do, but this nurse knew it was important to hear my dad out. To be in the room and show his full attention was only on what was happening in that room. To be present. It made a world of difference in rectifying the situation. My friends, multitasking is important, yes, but so is the sense of awareness to know when we simply need to be present. Number 2, lead with empathy. Even in crisis, nurses lead with heart. Years ago, my mother was poisoned by some tea at a restaurant, and I share her story in my book, Facelift, Embracing Hope Through Your Heartaches. When our family arrived to the ICU at the hospital, we learned she was going to have a PICC line inserted. Now, we were scared. We had no clue what was going on. It all was happening so fast. But our angel, as we refer to the nurse who performed the procedure, he exhibited such empathy to us in ensuring us that my mom was in good hands with him, as he was going to be the one to place that PICC line in. Even after the procedure, he came out and he showed such empathy in the journey that we were going to have to be walking through, yet also reassuring us that all went well with the step that he was a part of. Lead with empathy. It goes such a long way. Number 3, keep learning. Nurses are lifelong learners. In fact, most are required to continue their education yearly just to stay licensed. As you can tell, our family has seen our fair share of hospital visits. Through many of those inpatient stays, we've had many a nurse come in to care for us with whom through conversation, we learned that they were in schooling in some way, working on their degrees, certifications, or recertifications. Many have served as mentors as they train others by their side, and all of them have shared of their experiences as they trained under others. Even those who are in their final field have learned from each other different ways to do things or tips on how to make things easier for them or even more pleasant experiences for the patient. They're not only learning, they are open to learning. Now, I do interviews to protect our culture with Chick-fil-A here, the ones I represent here in Utah. And one of the main things I look for is having a growth mindset. Truth is, we have the opportunity to learn from others every day, in good and bad situations, from those younger and older, those more experienced and less experienced, those in the industry and those who aren't in the industry or have never even stepped foot in it. But not everyone is open to actually learning. Keep learning, my friends. It's the journey, not the destination. And then number 4, support the team. Nurses collaborate constantly because healthcare isn't a solo sport. I have always been so impressed how nurses work as a team. When I was in the emergency room years ago, a nurse really struggled taking my blood. And as she finally got it and turned to walk away, she passed out and dropped the vials and they shattered all over the floor. Now, I just cried as I knew this meant that they had to redraw. Now, don't worry, I was concerned if she was okay, and she was. Turns out that she was pregnant and hadn't told anyone yet, and taking the blood somehow made her pass out. I'm not a nurse. I don't fully understand how all that works or impacts each other, but it did. But another nurse came in and took my blood. They were there to support each other, not beat each other up, not point fingers or place blame, but step in, step up, and support their fellow nurses as one team. Whether you work alone or you work alongside others, we can always look for ways to use our time, our talent, and our experience to support the team. So, how can we show appreciation this week and all year long for those heroes we call nurses? Well, say thank you. A genuine, heartfelt thank you goes a long way. Perhaps even taking treats or a meal for your local nurse team. My dad has on many visits taken in donuts for his nursing team when he gets his infusion. And every time I'm with him, that there's a certain nurse that we just love. And I'll go up to the cafeteria and get her favorite drink, which is a Dr. Pepper. Just different ways to be able to express your gratitude. Another way is to nominate them for recognition. Programs like the Daisy Award were made for this. Simply visit thedaisyfoundation.org to do so. You can also keep eye in the doctor's offices and hospitals for comment and nomination boxes. So many people see comment boxes as a place to vent of what's gone wrong. But what if we start looking at them as what's gone right and turning in those compliments? Go ahead and try it. Third way is to send a message. A quick email or card with specifics such as, "You made me feel safe during my surgery." That can be incredibly powerful. And finally, listen to them. Nurses often know what's wrong well before anyone else does, so trust their expertise. I was just talking with a health professional today who was sharing with me their frustration of a family member who's listening to others instead of the medical advice and knowledge. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get second and third opinions or present your research and findings, but listen to the nurse, their instructions, their advice, even as time allows, showing interest in them by asking questions. Things such as what's been the most challenging part of your day, then the best part of their day, or what is their end goal on their path. Just listen to them. Now, as we close out today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Florence Nightingale once said, "Let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives." Nurses teach us every day what it means to serve, to comfort, and to lead from the heart. The least we can do is recognize them, protect, and uplift them. So here's our call to action. Would you tag a nurse, text a nurse, or even thank a nurse? And if you're in a position of leadership, listen to the nurses. Fight for better staffing, for mental health support, and even for compensation. Because Nurses Appreciation isn't just a week. It's a way of showing up for them each and every day. Now, to every extraordinary nurse who has ever cared for me or my family in one way or another, you were there with me and my family in our most vulnerable moments. Your unwavering compassion, quiet strength, and even healing presence have left quite the mark on our hearts and in our lives. We're forever grateful for the light that you brought into our darkest times. Thank you. And to the next generation of nurses, including my soon-to-be niece-in-love, who's currently in nursing school, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are seen, you are valued, you are the heartbeat of healthcare, and we can't wait to see how you'll change the world. Now, if this episode spoke to you, would you please consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it? And until next time, take care and take care of those who care for us. Thank you for joining me on this journey of life. I hope that today's highlight has been encouraging, inspiring, and equipping so you can go out and live your life full of purpose. I'd be honored if you'd take a moment to leave a review, or better yet, subscribe. We can also stay in touch by joining my email list at hollykirby.com. That's HOLLYCURBY.com. Until next time, make it a great day for a great day.